Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Not seeing Prometheus yet today, so we may not have our sidekick. I can hear myself. Hello, people. Hello, people. Welcome to the show. Realize this is not the most dramatic way to start the show, but I'm getting there. There's always extra stuff. There's always extra stuff to do when I have to switch networks like this, and we're back. We're back. We've been in the penalty box for a week now. That was either our fourth or our fifth strike. Yeah, of course, we were going the whole time on Rockfin. So if you're not a member over on Rockfin, not only are you missing the show when YouTube decides to stop us. I'm going to stop clicking things here, but I want to be able to see the Rockfin chat, but not stream the video to take the bandwidth away. What was I saying? Sorry, my sometimes when someone calls you, like, boo, you feel you feel that vibration, right, when you see the number in it. And man, I was not expecting that call right now. But that was either our fourth or our fifth strike. Yeah, we were going the whole time on Rockfin. Not only if you were on Rockfin, not only would you there would be three reasons. Now, there are three reasons that you should go to Rockfin. Number one is Pylorus is there now, and you would be able to share the same river of bandwidth as some really fine people, and Pylorus is one of those. Two would be you would actually be kind of telling YouTube, hey, you know what? I think you should stop treating me like a child and James like a child, and just let content just speak for itself. Bad ideas will die. Good ideas will prosper. It's literally the base root of the scientific method. And when I say base root, I'm talking about before it got all fucked up. Before it all got religiousized. Religiousized. It's time for religiousized, like jazzercise. Maybe this is why. So thank you for being here. Thank you for those who stayed on board. Also, I put myself on the Dojo Earth channel also, while we're gone, and, I could use that YouTube channel more, but it's taken us over a year and a half to even get 1,000 subscribers. It's just so slow. So, if you haven't subscribed to that channel, it'd be awesome, because if we had 1,000 subscribers, we could finally get that thing off the ground. It's brutal work trying to work in YouTube. It's brutal. It really is. It makes this job not even a job. It's more of like a volunteer effort that our patrons are doing in order to pretend like YouTube is something that we can all use. It sounds silly, but if you really logistically look at what's happening, that's that's what's had to happen. That the most powerful, richest company in the world cannot afford to support systems like this anymore, because we say certain things, and that it would be up to you, the same one that's had to readjust your settings in these last 2 years. It's really got me on the whole taxes thing. I don't know how to pay taxes and not be a cuck at the same time here. I cannot see how that could be a moral. If you look at just everything that's happened, everything, and not to get personal, but as a freaking veteran, someone who spent my entire life going, yeah, because we're allowed to say whatever we want around here. We can say whatever we want around here. And as a veteran, the woman's like, well, I'm doing this, so everyone can say whatever they want to say around here. That exact same veteran, exact same one, when he reaches 50 years old. Can't even go over the ingredients or the history of certain things. And we're supposed to pretend this is America. We're supposed to pretend that, well, this is why freedom's not free, James. This is why freedom's not free. Because veterans need to go fight for that. I'm like, yeah, I did. I fucking did. I did. You know how long that worked out? Never. It still hasn't worked out. If anything, things have gotten worse. It was probably the most immoral decision I ever made. Because there was not one bit, not one piece of that preservation of what I thought that I was contributing to exists today. Not one. Not a single one. And I get that you get it. I'm not trying to say this is about me. This is happening to all of us. It is. And some of us it's happening much worse. Believe me, I'm in a pretty safe position where I am. But when you really start to watch how we've caramelized this stuff, like we're literally taking the dookie droppings of government and sticking them in the caramelized mixings of what we're going to tell ourselves are apples. And we start that by saying, well, it's a private company. The idea that it's a private company is really interesting because my witness is not property of a private company. When you walk into Target, no one gets to stop your tongue from working. That's not how it works. Oh, well, if it's their establishment, they can kick you out. Their establishment is not their establishment because their establishment is only existing through my witness. That my witness creates a bandwidth between that organization and mine. That is a bridge. It is not a private organization. My witness cannot be a private piece of commodity that's traded. I do not give my witness away and say, now you own my witness wherever I go. The only people who did that would be people that hate their witness. Be the only way that that would happen. I should be in a better mood. It's good to be back. Hey, we just got a Cast Jesus join. That's cool. There's a man named Ben in Australia, and he's going through this right now, and showed me a recording of this dude walking into just a store, and purposely not wearing a mask and watching the employees come rough him up, and the employees are trying to survive just like that guy is. The employees are under dire threat. Their minimum wage job has been turned into a security position. They are now bouncers when they were selling shoe pads, right? And they were explaining, well, the Dr. Schultz machine doesn't work because the guy didn't come out here to fix it. Like that was the extent of their stress. That was it. Sometimes they had to clean the bathroom when they really, really were like, dude, I that wasn't in my job description. I never said I would clean a bathroom, but you did it. That was the brunt of it. And now these guys are like, yeah, here, take this fucking spear and stand in front of the door and stab anybody, physically assault them with your body if they come in and don't submit their witness to us. If they do not automatically adopt all of our religious beliefs, all of our political beliefs, and all of our economic ownership of their soul. Why? Because private property. It's not private property. No, it's not. A corporation is a dead thing. A corporation does not have jurisprudence over you. Does not own anything because it lacks witness. A private property is an agreement from everyone who has witness that, hey, that's a piece of property. And that piece of property is owned by this person. These trespasses that keep happening over and over and over again I'm seeing people get less and less obvious to them. And the latest thing I saw was this whole mandate thing. When you have the news and the media, when you have people that are on the side of truth, that are broadcasting the idea that, yes, the Supreme Court is going to hear a case now to determine whether or not a mandate is constitutional. And it passes you by. Just like, well, it's private property. It just passes you by. Why? Because Predator moves that slow. It moves that slow. Where it's just like, well, it's just a finger. Well, I'm not allowed to have a finger. I'm a private corporation. I can have a finger. What's wrong with that? It's not moving. You're moving. What are you talking about? Hey, things move all the time, you know? Hey, the survival of the fittest, you know? I can move. I can do whatever I want. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I don't know. You're crazy. No, nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. You're crazy. What are you talking about? That's absurd. I think maybe you need some Ritalin. Yeah, that's probably, maybe there's some ADHD. You know what? If you weren't so white supremacist, you wouldn't be complaining about this kind of stuff. Oh, gee, you're hurt? Well, maybe you should look at this other person and see how much hurt they are. What's your problem again? No, I don't know what you're talking about. It's always been this way. What do you mean? I don't get it. Why are you so upset, huh? Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself. The most brutal tactics will come at you that slow. You've seen how jaguars pounce. You've seen how tigers. You see how cats pounce. First thing that they do is they tell the prey, I'm coming for you. First thing they do. They hike up their hinds. They piloelectricize the back of their bodies. The fur stands straight up. They crouch down. They keen their ears so that they can only hear you and nothing else. They completely focus their eyes directly on you. They sit low to protect their neck. They give you every indication under natural law that shit's about to go down. And that cat is trying to survive, so it will go slow. It will move as slow as it can. Why? Because it knows how foolish the rat can be. It knows what it takes to win its meal. And we're so far behind, we're fighting each other over the fact that whether or not Predator even exists. And I was just shut down for 7 days. A veteran, not even allowed to just speak on camera for 7 days. And this is my 4th or 5th strike. And I get it. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. I get it. I get it. It's not that big of a deal, man. What are you talking about? This isn't happening. Dude, you're paranoid. That's a conspiracy theory right there. That's a conspiracy theory. It's true. And watching that tape from Ben makes me realize that I'm compassionating the fuck out of, actually not the guy who's trying to get in the store. I'm compassionating what it's like to be one of those tellers. And just like I always explain, he's wrapped in a uniform, isn't he? He's got the vest on. He's got the pharmacy name tag on. He's got a badge telling everybody his name. This is my name. This is my name. This is my name. The uniform tells himself who he is. The flow from root out to identity is inverted. It's inverted because a stainless steel, sharp, silver, pokey thing is inserted into the intramuscular tissue of his vest, and it gives him a name. It labels him with scarlet letters, and his field is now completely different. And this man has no compassion because this man is fully credentialized. He's vaccinated with credentials. And those credentials allow him to claim ownership of your witness as long as the one who stabbed him tells him it's okay. That the uniform itself is a Renfield. That when you're seeing people in uniform, you're seeing people become Renfield. Who is Renfield? Renfield was an accountant and a lawyer. Very successful. Very well trained. White collar. white-collar credentials, white-collar upbringing, the cream of the crop. So important that the law firm's newest, most prosperous client, a count, in fact, could only be entrusted with their finest man, Renfield. And that entire process is not a story about Dracula. It's a story about Renfield. It's a story about Lucy. It's a story about everyone else. It has nothing to do with a count. What is the hero's journey but a fall into Renfield? Renfield begins his Jungian journey at the top and immediately suffers the worst fall imaginable. He secretes his entire auric field and becomes addicted to infinite eternity. What is a corporation? The reason why Predator can move so slow is because Predator lives forever. And when I say live, we really have to start to peel away and actually apply some goggles of animism to even see what life really means. Because I noticed a long time ago that the definition of life is more akin to anything that makes ripples. And that those ripples would not have to be conscious or unconscious because we are ruled, we give ourselves over to, we give ourselves over to that which ripples us. And that the base definition of life seriously could be just where witness goes. That the phase of your life when you're living is you're in flesh and blood, and you have words and you have impact, or you don't. You offer visual dilation to witness. You offer auditory dilation to witness. You offer every form of everything that's about you. Who is here to secrete and pollinate attention? It's true. It's not just entertainment. That even those in accounting are bartering the precision of their attention. That they are secreting a focus because they're mining something from their time that they can exchange. And Renfield, at the top of his game, fell for this infinity because he literally fell in love with the immortality of Predator. It became the most important thing to him. It became the entire focus of his attention from that moment on. It shaped everything that he did. That is the hero's journey falling. That is the fall. That is the Satan of this world. The falling man. Osiris lays resting. And that the only way the piston of this world could ever work is if it had a fall. And that the entire leverage of this entire thing is much like a bicycle. If you're riding a bicycle with one foot, you remember that you get this interesting pump. This interesting rhythm is happening. And the only way you can even get anywhere on one foot is to actually use the momentum of that rhythm to keep it going. And that your soul is a single foot on a pedal. That your focus of attention is that single foot. and that you have no choice to propel yourself but to wait for the circumference and ride the fall. Ride the Renfield, baby. Stick your saddle on that shit and ride its way down. Alchemize it every step of the way. At no point should you regret that fall, because that fall is going to be crucial as you use its torque to come back up. So you see Renfield as a coward. We could see Renfield as an abomination. We could see Renfield as a putrid, disgusting human. He was eating bugs. He enjoyed eating bugs. Renfield was never a slave, right? Renfield was an addict. He was addicted to this. These are different. This cycle is crucial. And this cycle will never be profitable unless you're able to play that entire circle. Which brings us to Lucifer. That the fall of Satan is going to require some sort of momentum at the most important point. The most crucial point of that fall is going to require something colossally important. And it's right about there. And where is right here? It's right before the horizon. It's right before the horizon of that wheel. That right before the horizon of that wheel, you're going to, if you're riding with one foot, you're going to have to wait till just the right moment to engage the satanic fall. And if you have enough attention, if you have enough focus, you can even see the motor of this entire operation. Psychologically, Jungian, the reason why Jung was so popular is because Jung was showing you how the wheel works. He was explaining to you the process. And that process is crucial, that you hate, despise, disgust, castigate, and demonize the Renfield. That part is crucial. It's crucial because the resurrection of Renfield is the only way you're going to rise back up. It's the only way. And this is truly the meaning of a bright morning star, as Jesus said. I am the bright morning star. That the torque from that fall is going to require a resurrection, and that resurrection is an alchemy of the process of what's happening to you. It's a process. And when you're deep in your Renfield, when we are surrounded by Renfields, we see how easy it is for many to simply fall. For many to simply say, I'm stuck here, I belong here, I will eat bugs, I deserve this. You're seeing it everywhere. And those people want stakes through their heart. They want stakes through their heart, through their myocardial wall. They need something to penetrate that. This lust for infinity. What is vampire but the fear of death? Think about the fear of death and smear it in a line, and it will stretch to infinity if you fear death that much. That is the infinite. And the infinite has no reflection because the infinite is an addiction. It's not a being. Something can make ripples that isn't alive. And I learned that in college because I was writing about what an ATM machine was. I found an ATM machine fascinating. That was new technology. It was new. I found it fascinating because you had a portal into another world. And I could access this other world from any ATM machine around my town. And that all these different points were somehow connected to this same wormhole. This very single wormhole was connected. You could say, well, James, they were connected by wires. But the thing is that at no point in time could you ever open those wires and taste that. It was completely intangible. It required my witness to amalgamate it, that's not the right word actually, to bring it into context. It's a horrible use of literary there, but it required my witness to finish it. And that witness was transient through time. It didn't have like a backwards or forwards. It was quantumly entangled. And I think as we're starting to understand witness, one of the saddest things I've learned is that quantum computers aren't real. It was such a bummer to learn that. Ugh. And if some of you are writing like, how fucking dare you, James? What did you just say? You wrote a book called Quantum Rapture. And I'm like, I know, I'm like 2 for 2, where I like really fall in love with technology, and then I write a book about it, and then I research it, then I'm like, oh, fuck, that wasn't real. Oh, that sucks. Oh, then I'm like, well, wait a minute, maybe it is real if this, or maybe it is real if it's that. But it's not. We can argue about it if you want. It's fine. But I think what's more important, because, guys, if any of you are surprised, why are you surprised? Why are you surprised? Look at the moon. Do you really think they wouldn't try that again? Do you really think that people like Neil deGrasse Tyson aren't looking at the moon going, holy shit, this is amazing. Hey, I could ride this wave. You know, I'm going to be the Indiana Jones of space. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a vest with some stars on it. I'm going to wear an Indiana Jones hat. I'm going to have a show called Star Talk, and we're not actually going to talk physics. No, because I don't know physics. No, we're going to talk about recipes. And then in the middle of the recipes, I'm going to talk about how the universe is expanding. And then everyone's going to go, oh my gosh, that's a black Indiana Jones, and he's saying stuff. And I'm just like really moved because I've been feeling really guilty about black people this whole time because everybody's been telling me that stuff. And well, here he is, 2 things at once. I got the Big Bang and I got black people. Yay! That wave is just, it's beautiful. I used to hate that guy. But it's just so stunningly reliable form of transportation. To climb on the backs of these Renfields and say, we're going to bake cookies and talk about how the universe is always expanding and I'm black. It's just like, wow. It's... All this to say, back to Ben in Australia. All this to say, I have a pointer in my hair. All this to say that protest, even the act of protest, is consent. And we struggled through that a lot because we've learned that compassion is not consent. And then when I hate that YouTube doesn't show the dislikes on my videos, because the people disliking my videos and leaving comments like, you're doing cocaine because your nose is sniffy and shit like that, even that I've learned that is the fall of man in my motor. That negativity, the bad things that are happening to me is very important. It's very important because I can alchemize that on my way back up. And I started to realize that the people that are shit-talking me, which is not a lot, the people that are actually putting wood in your fire. They're putting wood in your fire. They're giving you that energy. And I would only be able to see that. If I was understanding this Jungian wheel. If I was understanding this cycle and where it goes. And it's profoundly made me understand Jesus on a deep, deep level. and in the series that we did on the astrology of Jesus. Him riding the back of Cepheus, him riding the cosmic ark and telling you, I'm going to fall. He understood this Jungian motor so well that, as any high magician would do, he was trying to find the resonance of every single topology he could find and place himself inside the center. It was a cockpit of time, of culture, of space, and of witness. And not once did Jesus say, oh, I'm the only one. He never said that. He kept telling you over and over again, why do you think this is so impressive? Why? Why do you not do the same? In fact, you being impressed with me is really you just kind of fucking off. That if you weren't so busy being impressed with me, that you would find the Son of God is you too. That you would find him in the I Am. And that Jesus saw this opportunity to fall. And he rode the back of Cepheus. The story of Jonah and the whale, right? You know that Jonah and the whale, that story was actually a satire. Believe it or not, that's how the Sadducees used to make fun of the Christians. Is that story of Jonah and the whale. But the joke's on them, because that cycle, that Jungian rise and fall, is the motor that Jesus was harnessing. And guess what? It doesn't matter if you believe in historical Jesus, archetypal Jesus, symbolic Jesus, Josephus Jesus. It doesn't matter, because we are talking about something real now. We're talking about mythology. We're talking about animism. We're talking about the inner workings of your ripples. Mythology is the only truth that you will ever know in this world. It's the only one. It holds everything because people think it's okay, since it's just mythology. People think, well, that's a mythology story. I guess we don't have to censor that. It's okay. It's a story. And it's an encryption. It's a Jungian encryption. The symbolism, the synchronicity, the fractal patterns that you see, the connections you make, the tribe, the witness that when you exchange makes you tickle. That's the real world. That's the real world. And by opening your eyes, it's made you blind this whole time. Because when you shut off those senses and truly, truly dig into the witness, where are my witness roots connecting to? That's where the currency is. That's the filament of light, of life. The curly filament that puts off all that heat. Je suis, said Shipmoth. I am. Je suis. When you see these kind of connections, you can start to go, oh, there's some downvotes. Good. Great. That means that I moved that person so much that they were just like, bah, bah. And that's the kind of torque that I need to get the next cycle in, right? To ride the thermals and raise up like a vulture. It's fascinating that vultures eat the dead and then spend hours doing nothing but trying to just ride the thermal to rise back up. That a vulture doesn't actually have the ability to pump his wings and fly up. It's too big. All he can do is land in places that are going to have the thermal so he can rise back up again. It's a tricky business being a vulture. You can't just land wherever you want. He's got to think that shit in and out. It's part of the whole time dilation thing. I've been trying to explain this symbolically to you guys, and I don't think that I've done let me see. I don't think I've done the right thing yet. I actually might even have this. I bet you I don't, though, and I bet it'll take me a while to find it. But when you were dealing with a creature that requires simulation, like future past thinking to move, like a vulture, like a human, you're dealing with a thicker time bubble, reality bubble. What I mean is like an insect, a spider. One of the benefits of having 6 legs or 8 legs is that the unit itself doesn't need a simulator. As it walks, the 8 legs, it's not like all of those legs are required to stand, which means that each leg can step somewhere that doesn't help. As long as there are 2 legs, preferably 3, the spider is still stabilized. So the number of legs itself is actually making the spider not have to be so thick in time, meaning the spider doesn't have to learn to look ahead in the future to know where to step. To illustrate what I mean, we'll get to vultures. When you're watching how someone walks, we only have 2 legs, only 2. Yes, we can stand on 1 leg, but having only 2 legs, we have to do something much different than spiders do. For us to walk over a treacherous terrain requires simulation. We literally have to render the world in our mind in a predictive way and know where can I safely step so I won't fall. Why? We don't have 8 legs. We don't have the ability to have 1 leg step in the wrong place. There's only 2. In fact, stepping in the wrong place could be very, 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 very dangerous. So, the thing that burns the most calories in your head is the thing that's giving you witness, your brain. And so your brain, before it to walk, literally has to peel the world away and see into the future by simulating it. His ability to see into the future, to peel away that layer, is going to be covered with a certain amount of grease, right? And the sharper your mind is, the clearer that grease is, which means the further away you can accurately simulate things. How does this work? You don't stumble on things. A child is learning to simulate the future when he's learning to walk. These two are the same thing. And if you really look at witness, I want you to imagine that witness isn't a needle at 106.5 anymore. That now that needle is able to stretch from 103.1 FM up to 106.9 FM. Now, this same antenna is able to read all of the radio stations as it moves. He can shift his simulation to a lower vibration, i.e. go back in time, or speed it up ahead. His thickness is more. Its thickness requires a longer time for simulation. Vulture is the same. It's one of the very few birds that actually has that limitation. Condors do too. It's basically the big birds. And why? Because their brain can handle the simulating. Their brain has more of what it takes to do that. It's one of the reasons why vultures don't even have talons. They don't have claws. A vulture can land on your arm, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't. They're just kind of dopey. They're just like, hey, what's up? And they smell bad. That's about it. Their only dangerous thing is they can throw up on you. And that shit burns, I'll tell you. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah. So, we are simulating different levels in time. You are not in one place in time. You are constantly ahead and behind it. Constantly. The Renfield in you will emerge when you find a way to decide you can avoid that. If you find yourself trapped on that bandwidth, it becomes easy to consider the life and diet of a Renfield instead. Renfield eats bugs. Renfield stays still. Renfield lives in the basement of his count because he will not have to simulate. Slavery requires no simulation. In fact, the slavery that we're taught is real doesn't actually exist. That Caesar did not have to put 1,000,000 Gauls in chains and literally drag them kicking and screaming into his country. He simply broke their simulators. When I say broke it, what I mean is he simply dictated every possible avenue that they could see. He was able to be there. That's really all it took. It's amazing. I have some issues here with this saw, guys. It is really loud. I'm assuming you guys can hear the saw. I think I might actually shut down early because I don't want to get pissed. It's this YouTube thing is rough. Oh, if you guys are new, if you guys missed the last 5 days, we actually are doing something cool. We started a DAO, but I'm not gonna be able to get into it. I'm actually having trouble focusing. I'm gonna shut down, but I appreciate you guys. I also can't even see the chat. I can't pull up the window to even. I don't know. I'm having issues over here, guys. I'm having issues, but I put the link into the Dojo Work channel. If we get shut down again, you should be able to see me there. Of course, if you're on Rockfin, it wouldn't have gone off at all. Yeah, I don't know if he's gonna stop now or not. I know he's not. I know he's got a lot of stuff to do. All right, guys. Sorry about the short ending, but hey, we got a special show Friday. I'm really looking forward to that. We did that last Friday too, but with Catherine Hopkins, and Melanie and I, and the patrons. So we got that coming up on Friday. Yeah, normal week. Everything's normal except for YouTube cut us off. That's really the only thing that was different. So, all right. You guys have a good day. Hope you enjoyed it.